Well, you've spoken about the budget or mentioned the budget. Well, it's not so much as a budget as a glimpse of the black hole of debt slowly consuming the state of Victoria. Now, no one was expecting a miracle, but the reality seems to be quite dire. What are your thoughts on the recently handed down Victorian budget?
Well, I think it proves that there is such a thing as long COVID, doesn't it? I mean, that it's really Victoria has long COVID, and Daniel Andrews and his treasurer Tim Pallas have proved that in terms of Victoria has a debt of I think it's 171 billion at the end of this year, and that's actually more than the state debts of New South Wales, Queensland, and Tasmania combined. It's absolute dog's breakfast. Now they've realised that the reckless spending has to stop. Well, it's actually not stopping. They're actually going on quite a lot of reckless spending, but they're seeking to pay for it by more taxes, more charges, COVID levies on businesses for the next 10 years, and basically saying, well, we did what we have to do, but you're now going to have to pay for it, and we don't want your kids to pay for it, so you're going to pay for it. And really, what we're seeing is an economy that couldn't really do what the Premier actually told voters it could do. But I think one of the problems is that many Victorians actually took the Kool-Aid. They actually said, oh, look, we can have our cake here and we can eat it too. We can borrow and we can build stuff. And we like the stuff he's building, so we'll give him a tick. But really, I think the chickens have come home to roost. And certainly it's a post-COVID blast that really proves that it's not just a physical complaint. It's not just a physical disease, it's an economic disease as well, and Victoria has got it really, really badly.
Yes, well, I don't remember any lines during the 2 weeks to flatten the curve of plus there'll be a COVID levy on you for years to come. That wasn't mentioned in the fine print of Daniel Andrews' little news conferences. But I'm going to read to you a headline from the Daily Mail on the budget just to amuse you. Their headline said, 860,000 Victorians to pay COVID tax of up to $1,300 as Dan Andrews faces financial Armageddon. Horror budget also slugs big businesses and private schools as Victoria suffers the consequences of the world's harshest lockdowns. Now, that whole thing, Terry, was the Daily Mail headline. It sounds as though Dan Andrews is trying to approach Victoria the same way as the Roman empires did. They get elected and they run around and shake everybody with money and see what falls out.
I don't think that's quite an accurate description of certainly the high time of the Roman Empire, maybe towards the end, but certainly I think the fall of Rome. I don't think Rome is going to fall for a while because to have that you need an effective opposition, and that's the whole really irritating, the really angering thing about the state of the Victorian Liberals. It's not the more redeeming issue in itself, it's the whole rabble, it's the whole mess, it's the whole inability to lay a glove on this bloke, and the way that they're making themselves irrelevant. Victorians need better, Victorians deserve better, they're just not getting it. But as far as the Premier goes, as far as Daniel Andrews goes, it's his way or the highway, and he's decided that he can get away with it now. He's got re-elected for a second time. He's got through COVID. It's not the sort of thing that you say before an election, but it's very much the sort of thing you say after an election. But after the peace comes the reckoning. That's true. But reality is that too many Victorians took him at face value, took his message that you can spend big because I can borrow big. That is the Premier, and basically voted for his program. And my sense is that the Victorian Liberals, particularly in opposition, need to actually come up with a real alternative economic plan, a strategy to get Victoria through the next couple of decades, not just through the next electoral cycle.